Welcome to a new episode of Nrityavana Talk Series. Today, I am going to speak with an inspirational avant-garde woman who wears multiple hats: a dancer, a teacher, an entrepreneur. A woman who's changing the world bit by bit through her initiative by blending the world of dance with the world of STEM. So join me today as we speak with the lady herself, Yamilée Toussaint Beach, the founder and CEO of STEM from Dance. Welcome, Yamilée, to Nrityavana Talk Series. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
How was your week so far? Was it very busy?
Yes, it's one of those weeks where I can't believe it's Friday. It's like I can't believe it, but then I'm also ready for the weekend. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I'm sure the all the young energy that you've been working with and for keeps you like motivated and going.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so today on our talk series, we would be talking to you about your connection with dance and this wonderful initiative, STEM from Dance, that you have founded in 2012. So, having said that, shall I begin with my questions?
Yeah, let's go.
Sure. So, can you share with us like your earliest memory of dance, like you dancing, and what are some of the dance forms that you practice, and how was the training for it?
Yeah, I mean, dance was such a big part of my childhood. I think I'll often think back to the recitals and just all of the anticipation, almost throughout the whole year, waiting for this performance and the costume and being on stage and remembering all the moves. So whenever I think back to being a young person, I envision myself dancing. And I went to a local dance studio and I just took everything they had to offer. So ballet, tap, jazz, modern, point, African hip hop. I was there sometimes 6 days a week.
Oh, wow. So like that's a lot of dancing.
Yes, yes.
So and like after your high school and for your college, you went to MIT to pursue Bachelor of Sciences in Mechanical Engineering. And
Yes.
I did a bit of digging on the internet, and I found out that you were just not focused on the academic goals, but you were also involved in a lot of other activities. And the list is huge. So I'm just going to read that out. So it was like you were involved in Mocha Moves dance team, Mighty Step team, Haitian Alliance, National Society of Black Engineers, and Black Women Alliance. So that is a lot of activity, and you were not just an active member of those groups, but at the same time you were also like co-chair, and you were in the empowering positions to keep the activities going and organizing them. So how was this journey at MIT like influential in kind of creating your skills and certain aspects of your personality that helped you in the later part of your life?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, what was important to me was not only that I, I went to class and I did as well as I could and that I was thriving in that aspect, but also that I was developing as a person and as a leader. I knew that that was going to be an important skill and set of experiences for whatever I went on to do. And I wanted to be part of a community and be part of building the community around me. So that was something that I wanted to make time for. And honestly, I would sort of run out of class to be able to participate in these things. And so even now, when I look back at my time at MIT, I'm so grateful for all of those memories and the friendships and just those moments that really um, they really mattered in a very rigorous and sometimes stressful environment. I'm so glad that I had those communities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like that kind of goes like do you think it goes a long way in your life, like because those formative years you have spent like making sure that you are developing your entrepreneurship skills as well, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, and I could see how um, things that I've learned in that time period have informed what I do now. I think
Mm-hmm.
just even having the experience of leading a dance organization then has informed what it looked like for me to build out STEM from dance. Um, and and yeah, that's the kinds of things that you don't necessarily learn in classes. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. And after your completing your Bachelor of Science, you also did a teaching assignment for Teach for America. And like, was it during this time that you realized that as a society we lack a perspective in dispensing technical education to the students, and because of which it is like creating a huge gap between all the enthusiastic and the energetic women, like girls in the school, versus if we check the numbers of the women who are occupying critical positions in STEM. So like, how that Teach for America assignment like was important to you?
Mhm. When I was at MIT, I saw how few um, Black women there were in my classes across the institution. And, in terms of education, college is towards the end of that journey. And, that just made me think there's got to be something that's happening before we get to this point that's contributing to that lack of representation.
Mm-hmm.
So I taught to be able to learn more about that and have some kind of influence on the younger generation. And I was able to see some of the reasons why we have the lack of representation at the college level. And, some of those things are just seeing how STEM is presented to young people. It doesn't always come across as something that's interesting or fun or creative or inventive. Sometimes it comes across kind of boring. And, I thought that was one thing. And also just seeing how easy it is to lose confidence in these subjects because they are hard, and because there is messaging that it's more suited for boys than girls. And so those are some of the things that I sort of took away from that experience teaching.
So you started STEM from dance in 2012, and like, can you share with us like what was the basic thought behind this initiative and what was your primary goal?
Sure. Just building off of that idea of seeing how STEM was portrayed and also how difficult it was to have confidence in those subjects. I built STEM from dance um, to combat that, and I thought about the role that dance played in my life.
Mm.
And is there some way that, like, what the positive things that you get from dance, is there a way that could translate into STEM? Because it's like what STEM needs, dance has. Is there a way that the two can coexist and, you know to ultimately have girls be excited about STEM? And I focused on girls thinking about the demographics and how the smallest slice of the pie, when we look at the STEM workforce, is Black and Latina women. So that's what I set out to do. And really, one of the biggest challenges was figuring out
Mhm.
how what does it look like for these two to live together. And so, I spent years trying different things at different schools and programs, and landed on this idea of using the performance space and looking for ways um, that STEM appears in those spaces, and helping students to create both the STEM and the dance.
Mhm. Yeah, so you mentioned like how dance was important in your life and what you had learned from it. So like, I remember from one of your earlier talks that I had attended that you mentioned like when you were young, it was your dad who would like give you projects, and that is what you used to use, and that kind of had you interested towards STEM. But what was the contribution of dance at that phase of your life when you were a high schooler or you were in school?
Sure. For me, because I was at my dance studio so much, that became sort of like a second home to me. And I came alive. Like my personality came through more in my dance studio than at school. So I, when I think about my high school years, I feel like school is where I took classes, but it was really in the dance space that I had friendships and, meaningful interactions, or like where people knew who I was, and knew what I could contribute. That's, and, with that in mind, I think that's why I was so compelled about the use of dance, to be able to create that kind of space, and knowing that that's the kind of space that we need in the STEM fields.
Right. So, as you mentioned, for you, it was two different worlds. It was school was a different world, and dance studio was a different world. But when you started STEM, it was like you offered year-round programs through school residences and through the summer program, Girls Rise Up. So you were kind of trying to blend the dance world with the school world. So how difficult or easy was it to like convince the schools to onboard and encourage their pupils to join this program?
Hmm. There were some challenges, and then also, um, a lot of wins. I think, on one hand, trying to convince a school to try something new, something that hasn't been proven, is understandably, something that they were hesitant about, because this is not an experiment. This is, students' lives. And so, um, I think being able to offer something that is new and hasn't been proven was difficult. However, um, he's like, how bad can it get? If they're dancing, they're learning about STEM, it can't be too bad. And so I think some of the early adopters probably had that kind of mindset, like, don't fully know what this is, but something about this sounds right. And I do think, we kind of check off a lot of boxes for what schools are looking for.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking for, they're aware of the need to encourage their girls in STEM,
Mm-hmm.
and they also are aware of how much girls like to dance. Like usually when they have some kind of survey, like, what kind of club would you like to participate in? Usually the dance option is really popular. So I think they see that when we come in, we can cater to both.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think through that lens, we have been seeing more and more schools see the importance of an experience like STEM from dance.
Mm-hmm. So, have you seen like the numbers translate like with the girls taking careers in STEM?
We're starting to see that. It's a long game. We have to, still put in more years to see that girl who came to us in middle school, see what they do after college.
Mm-hmm.
But we are seeing some of our students go to college for, a STEM major. And really what I think is really encouraging is the impact that's made just at the end of a summer program or after a school year, that already we see mindsets shifting, and those like light bulb moments, and just, a change in how they're perceiving themselves, and then also just like tangible skills that they're learning. And if that is possible in a time span of, 2 weeks, a year, you know, I'm encouraged about what's possible if we keep giving them these opportunities to
Mm-hmm.
engage in this content.
Yeah, and maybe like seeing the students in this light, even the schools might be more open to, and more schools might be willing to adopt STEM for from dance and like in their school as a program.
Exactly.
So, like when I was looking through the website STEM from Dance and also on the YouTube channel, like just interested in knowing like what projects the girls are doing. I was a bit jealous that I was too early to school because they were doing so many cool things. Like I came across a project where they did, I think, sensor based chair when they sit and they stand up and it lights up. So that was really cool. But like, what really stuck me was like, wow, the students are coming up with the ideas, and with the help of instructors they are implementing it on their own. So that was really something nice as a like a dancer and an engineer to see the application in this field. But for you as a founder of STEM from Dance, do you have those one or two incidences or stories when which happened and you were like, oh, this is the reason why I started, and like you feel like inching closer to your goal?
Yes, so many. So many. Yeah, I think what you mentioned about these projects or these performances that they create, um, something that's almost subtle is just seeing the excitement and the ownership of these projects. They really, you know, what it if you were to watch the process take place, the instructor is kind of like sitting back, and it's really the students who are planning and organizing and building, and just seeing their expression of like excitement and confidence, I think is really special, because oftentimes the experience of a student in school is, you fill out a worksheet, you take down notes, you solve an equation. It's these things that are very structured, and to give them this, open-ended task and to really trust them to build it out. um, I think it's just always so cool to see how it feels for them to be trusted, as to have adults trust them as young people. And then also, I think to just the impact of a word of encouragement. I think about one student who I spoke to, like a really brief conversation. Like it could not have been more than 5 minutes. And we were just she was just expressing concern about going down like an engineering pathway. I'm like, you can totally do it. You could do it. And I don't really remember what I said, but a year later she came back and she was like, that conversation changed my life. Because of that, she started to sign up and apply for different STEM programs, and now she's enrolled and she likes it more. And so now I'm helping her, apply for um, her undergrad degree in STEM. So it kind of trips me out that all came about from just a less than 5 minute conversation. And so again, it's the change that we're looking to see, it's possible.
Yeah.
And it could be as simple as just inspiring a young person.
Right. And that I think is very powerful and very much needed. Like when you are that, as I also said earlier, when you have an impressionable mind, which all of our high schoolers have, and like at that moment, if somebody nudges them forward, and which is obviously a task you are doing in a very a great way, so I think that must be helping them. But like just from your last piece of a statement that you said that you were helping her like apply for college applications. So like from within the STEM from dance framework, are there other ways apart from like the school programs in which you help the students like encourage them to like apply for the colleges?
Yeah, we have a whole alumni aspect of our program where we do just that. We help students get into a STEM major, or help like informing them of events that they can attend, and giving them more of these STEM dance experiences, helping them um, engage in other aspects of STEM, introducing them to other women who have these professions. So that it doesn't just stop at that moment of like excitement and motivation, but that we're backing that up with more ways that they can get involved. So yeah, that's really important part of our approach.
Yeah, and like it just brings to my mind one thing that I recently read, which was empowered woman, empowered woman. So I think you are one empowered woman, and you are creating more of them, and that's really great for I think the society as a whole. But like I'm sure that this task must have not been very easy. And so, like, what are the challenges that you're facing now for STEM from dance? Like, I know pandemic might have affected it, but like, what are the general challenges that you're facing?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I feel like, with the pandemic, so many challenges, but one is um just the how challenging it is to plan when there's things that we're not sure what to anticipate.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, we're really having to be flexible and responsive in a way that we would, love to plan months and months in advance. We have to be ready to change, based off of what's happening in the world. Um, and beyond that, our goal is to have as many girls have this experience who can benefit from it, and not just in New York City. We know that this message resonates in communities all over the country, all over the world. It's sort of a universal message that girls matter. um, People from underrepresented communities matter, and they can thrive in STEM. And that's a message and a opportunity that we want to offer to more girls. So really, we're charting that path forward and seeing what does it look like um, to bring the program to other areas. So those are some of the things that are sort of top of mind right now.
Right. And so I'm really like hats off to you. I can imagine how difficult a task it must be. But like if anybody is interested in volunteering or helping, like I'm sure you might need a lot of helping hands to this cause. So how can they reach out to you, and who can volunteer? Like what are, is there a certain like we must haves or like no
Mm.
nos at all?
Mhm. Yeah, we're always really excited to bring more people into our network, into our STEM from Dance family. So, we're always looking for people to come speak to the girls about their STEM careers and their journey. So that's a great way to get involved. Um, we partner with companies to um, so a lot of time, if it's a tech company, that could be an opportunity for the girls to visit, whether like in person or virtually. So always looking to partner with companies, and then also just the expertise. Um, we don't want to limit
Mhm.
how we bring STEM and dance together. So we're always excited to talk to other dancers, people in different STEM fields, and think together about how we bridge these so that students can have more diverse experiences, not just with programming, but other aspects of STEM, for example. So we invite people to reach out to us for conversations like those. If you know any girls, um, anywhere really this summer, we're going to launch our information about our summer program, Girls Rise Up, for 2021. So you can visit our website for that. And as far as getting in contact, it's the website, stemfromdance.org. We're on social media, Stem from Dance. I'm on social media, Yamilée Beach. So feel free to follow, tag, etc. We'd be happy to hear from you.
Yeah, that is like the summer program for 2021. I think it sounds really interesting because I remember seeing couple videos, and I remember like I think the girls did some gesture recognition program, or because they were moving and the screen was like it was very cool. And I'm sure like though remote and though in virtual world, 2021 program might be a like something on everybody's list this summer.
Yes.
So I really appreciate, like, thank you for like answering all my questions until this like point. But I'm going to ask you two more questions, and those are the ones that we ask to everybody who comes to Nrityavana. So my first question would be like, what is your definition of dance?
Hmm. Dance is is it's movement. It's um, an expression through movement.
Mm-hmm. And my second question would be, what is diversity? Like, what does diversity mean to you, and why do you think it should be celebrated or encouraged?
Mm-hmm. Um, Man, I think diversity matters because people matter. And I know I've been in far too many rooms where I'm the only one who looks like me, and that has an impact. And we know that diversity lends to great outcomes. And so we miss out on so many different things, so many ways that we can help people
Mm-hmm.
and help the world when we lack that diversity. So, yeah, I think it's something that we should all be passionate about in all industries, simply because people matter.
Very, very well put, and I think thank you for like answering those as well. And again, like just reiterating myself, I would be like, thank you for taking time out on this Friday, and I just wanted to say this, that the first time I heard your speech or got introduced to STEM from dance was in GHC 2019, where you had won the Abbey Award for Innovation and Education. So, and my first thought in that lecture was, wow, like blending dance and engineering to teach the girls coding, it's like so great. But like on like my second thought was, that's something very deep and important that you're doing. So I just wish like it just presents a way for the world to think about dance or art forms in general, not just limiting to the mode of like theater and entertainment, but look beyond and how it can be used for the society. So thank you
Yeah.
for the work that you're doing for the future generations and the current generation of our planet. And I wish you and your team all the very best. And again, I would like to say this, thank you for the time this evening.
Oh, thank you so much. That was so kind. And yeah, happy to do this work, happy to speak with you.